You guys are back. You liked us so much that you stuck around, or you just have nothing else to do tonight. Oh well. Uh, we're back with another video. Uh, we're kind of trying out a couple different things. I don't know if we're gonna kind of bounce around who is the host of the show. I might do it one day. He might do it another. Ryan might do it another. I don't know. We'll see. But we do need your help. We are trying to decide on a new logo. We have one, and we want to see what our loyal fans, think of our new logo. So let me just throw it up here. Keep it on there for a few seconds. You can take it in. Take it, let it mix with your aura, um, or whatever you do. I don't know. Maybe you're not into that thing. I don't know. But we're gonna let you check it out anyway. Here we go.
Yeah, and then after that, I'll let him talk again so he can actually see it, the full thing. But after that, I'll throw on the full screen of the logo that we're using at this point. So,
Yes. So this is the new possible logo. Pretty cool. If I do say so myself. I mean, I made it, so I'm kind of biased a little bit. But let me take that off there.
all right, and I'll show you the one I made a long time ago. And I really couldn't find any good websites. That's probably why creation, because it kind of is. I was looking for a logo website, and I was like, blood splattering, kinda looks kind of cool. Got blurry text at the bottom. I was like, okay, I can work with that. And I just put the name on there. His is probably more detailed. I couldn't really find anything wrestling oriented. I just kind of had to go off the top of the dome. Oh, you can't see me pointing at my head right now, but
He's
so
pointing to his head
yeah,
right now.
yeah. All right, so I guess we'll get it started.
Yeah. So this video is another similar video to a TNA video we did. This is WWE. We're talking about the different divisions in WWE, different titles, whether it be the World Heavyweight title, the Intercontinental title, US title, all that stuff. I don't know if we're going to get into the NXT titles because I don't know. Those aren't really going to change anytime soon. NXT is NXT. Um, but let's see. Do we want to start the lower belts first, or do we want to start with the big guy?
We should who Ryback? Are we starting Ryback? The big guy.
No, no. We're not starting with Goldberg. I mean Ryback. Should we start with the world heavyweight or the, I don't know, what would technically be the lower? I don't want to be sexist and say that women's or divas title is the.
Well, I think in the last one we did start with the we gave the ladies the respect, and we did the ladies first last time. So I guess that's where we should probably start now. I guess,
All
and then we
right.
could go into the tag, and then the mid cards, and then the heavyweights. I guess. I mean, if that's what you wanted. You're hosting this show. I'm just following back.
Oh, okay. So we are gonna. I guess we're gonna start with the divas division in World Wrestling Entertainment. It's kind of a sad division as of right now, if I do say so myself. Which is sad because I like to see good women's wrestling. Unfortunately, we don't get that in WWE all the time, or ever. um, let me let's see who do we have in the division now. We have obviously the Divas champion is AJ Lee. Don't know really what they're doing with her right now. Kind of just seems like she hangs out at commentary and talks while other divas have matches. But let's see who else we have. We also have Alicia Fox, which, let's be honest, she's kind of a jobber. They could just kind of throw her in wherever they see fit. Actually, let me have DJ kind of. What are your thoughts on our Divas champion AJ Lee?
Um, I think before Paige came in, you could I'm feeling like I think before Paige came in, you could honestly say AJ Lee was the only true good diva that was actually being utilized. Then her and CM Punk got married or whatever, and there was some kind of rumor she was pregnant or something. I don't think she is, or she probably wouldn't have the title. So I think before the CM Punk situation and her chilling with CM Punk and stuff like that, I think we could have said, well, she's the best worker in that ring as far as the women go that actually get used. Obviously we got Natalia, like we said before. We got Natty, we got uh, AJ Lee, Paige. Those three are the ones that come to mind. I think Alicia Fox as well, just because she's been in the main storylines. You said Naomi as well. I do like Naomi, and yeah. Anyway, I do like Naomi. Naomi's a good. She's a good chick. Good chick. Anyway, but with the Divas division, I don't know, because I know there's a ton of divas that have kind of turned into valets and kind of turned into announcers as well. Like not necessarily like commentators, but like the ring announcers. I know. I think what was it? Eden? Is that her name? Who's the ring announcer for
Yeah.
Raw currently or SmackDown? Is it SmackDown?
Um,
Raw?
I know she. I remember she was originally an announcer for NXT. I think she is doing. I don't. I can't remember if it's Raw or SmackDown. I thought she was doing one of them.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I think Lillian, because I think she was doing, I think she may have been doing both of them because Lillian Garcia, I can't remember what, I think she may be having a baby too. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think that's probably where she is. Um, but I know she ring type of diva for a little while. I'm pretty sure, right? Am I wrong?
I don't remember. The only thing I really know about Eden is she's. I don't know if she's married to or just
Yeah,
dating
yeah, she's
Cody
married to
Rhodes.
him. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Um,
That's really the only thing I know
Speaking of
about.
girls I want to marry, JoJo. I know she's shout out to JoJo. She's the ring announcer for NXT. I do know that because I know, or at least that was the plan. I don't know. I don't get a chance to watch NXT, so I don't know if she is. But from what I heard,
Yeah,
that's the plan.
I was trying to figure out what was going on with her because I know she was on the original season of Total Divas.
And they just ruined the show by taking her off. Darn it! They just ruined
Yeah,
it, man.
I don't know if she just I don't know if she got injured or if she just couldn't do it anymore. I don't know. I never really heard anything. If anyone knows, please fill us in, leave comments, uh, and follow us on Twitter. By the way, our Twitter hand. Well, oh, mine's not there anymore. But yeah, I really don't know what's going on with her. Um, I I kind of I was excited about her when I saw her on Total Divas. I liked her more than Eva Marie. Um, I like a lot of people more than Eva Marie.
I mean, she's like around. She's like my age, dude. Like we're compatible, bro. Like she just need to just face it. I mean, what can I say? We're compatible. I mean, she would be lucky. I'm already in good with her mom, dude. Like her mom tweets me all the time, dude. So I mean, right? I mean, her mom just need to just get the hookup going. We'll meet up somewhere. I can travel outside of like 20 miles. So, you're going to have to work with me there. But anyway, let's get back on topic because, that's usually the main. but anyway, besides my huge crush on JoJo, uh, I mean, I think she's doing announcing right now. I think there's a lot of people there kind of moving around. Um, WWE, like I said, they do have a lot of they have kind of too much talent. They kind of have to do this a little bit with some people, kind of move them around, kind of put them in gimmick situations. With the Divas division, I just feel like they don't have a ton of they have a lot of talent, but I don't know if they have a lot of good talent in the Divas division. And that's probably because they don't really focus on that. Um, they focus on bringing in those male eyes, literally those male eyes. That seems like that's the main gist of the conversation with the Divas division, and it's unfortunate. It really is because I really want to see the females put on those good matches, but we don't always see that.
True. You know, speaking of male eyes, I do have eyes for Paige. So if you happen to watch this, you're single, busy, free sometime, we can go out sometime. I don't have a problem with moving to the UK. I mean, I know you're from over the pond, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I mean, and I honestly think like I'm the last person to want anyone to lose their job. I've been in that situation. I've lost jobs before. I've been unemployed. It sucks. But there are certain divas, you know, Cameron, that I think they need to, cut the cord, cut her loose. She went, uh, Cameron specifically, she went back to an NXT to kind of train more and came back. And I don't know what you think, but I personally don't think she got. If anything, I actually think she got kind of a little bit worse. Um,
See, I haven't seen much Cameron, so basically all I saw, they gave that girl a tie and they told her to go out to the ring. I mean, they gave her a little tire change and they gave her a literal tie. Um, and no, it's not a bolo tie; it's legit tie. And they told her, good luck. I don't know, Cameron. I don't know, like I don't know. I don't know if she's gotten better or not because I didn't really pay attention to Cameron before, so I'm not really paying attention to her now. I watched Paige and I watched AJ Lee and Natalia when she gets in the ring. That's about it. Like I mean, I try to give other people a chance. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you gotta have that, and especially in the women's division, you gotta have that that name for me to be like, all right, I can pay attention to you, or you gotta impress me one.
yeah, and I think in the Divas division, you gotta, you know, with the men's division, you can kind of not really make that huge impact right out the gate and still, work up your character. I feel like with the women's division, you almost have to come out with that bang. Um, and I feel like divas like you were saying, like Paige and AJ Lee did that. Look at some of the matches that Paige has had in the past couple months. Uh, Not even with the matches themselves being good, but she's taken some nasty bumps, and it just proves that she's not afraid to take bumps. She's not afraid to get physical, and I feel like a lot of these divas are cat fighters. It's just pulling hair, slapping, you know, and it just
And,
it makes
and
the
that's kind of how it got though for a little bit, right? That's kind of just what it was. Like, just get into a cat fight and then have a 2-minute match, and that was about it. That was about all we were getting for a little bit.
and there was so many bad like gimmick matches, like pillow fights. There was, uh, anything, I gotta say it. Anything sexist, they did. They've done Jello matches, they've done pudding matches, they did a swimming pool match, and it gets guys' attention, yeah, but it doesn't really show what women's wrestling really can be and is in other promotions. Like you've said, Shimmer and other promotions that really respect women's wrestling. Um, you know, Women can get in the ring and perform as good, some cases even better than guys.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that across since I started, since I kind of rejuvenated this channel from a wrestling base. I don't even know. I don't, and I'm, once again, I'm getting off topic a little bit here, but it goes with the territory. I've been trying my best. Just some women, some wrestler that's a woman that wants to come on here and talk about how they feel, why women's wrestling is important. Because I mean I understand it, but I mean a lot of people are like, well, let me go grab me something to eat real quick. Because I mean, and that's kind of what it is. Like you got a 2 minute match. It won't take you long. Just you go upstairs and grab you some chips. The match is over. I mean, practically that's just how it is. Like I still I still want to go and watch some of these Shimmer matches and these British Bombshell matches. Because those are basically all women's companies, and that really puts the emphasis on women's wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm about to in the next couple of days be contacting whoever I can via Twitter because I I friend requested Shimmer. They followed me back. And a couple other female wrestlers have followed me back. So I might hit them up and say, hey, we got a show. Would you mind doing a quick interview with us? Because it is important to get their point of view of why women's wrestling is important, and if we can educate people as to why women's wrestling is important, then maybe someday we can get a better product. Because if the fans learn more about women's wrestling, they'll want to see more good women's wrestling. And when they want to see something, it's the simple law of supply and demand. They're going to demand it, so WWE is going to have to supply it. Um, I don't know what else I really want to say about the Divas division. There's not too much as of right now to say about it, unfortunately. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, I don't really have any other thoughts. Overall, I think this division is kind of struggling. It's kind of lacking. I mean, that's everywhere. I'm not even just talking about WWE. We've said this in the past. The women's, wrestling component of wrestling, of that art, it's not really there. And you know, I guess a lot of people who think women's wrestling is a bathroom break are probably going to take a bathroom break during that portion of this video. But it's a true statement. So I mean, you can't refute it. Like, yeah, I mean, you can tell you can tell me it's important and I can believe you, but you try to go tell some of these men who don't give a crap about women's wrestling that it's important, they're probably going to look at you and laugh.
Yeah, and I mean, I've gone to WWE shows, SmackDown, Raw, even house shows, and I've been in the crowd and I've heard guys during the Divas matches saying the most disrespectful things, and you know, it takes everything in me to not say something or do something that I would regret, because like we've been saying, we want to have good uh, women's wrestling. We're waiting for that, you know.
And I feel like WWE's trying a little bit, right? You know, they're trying a little bit. That's about all I can give them because you're not seeing bra and panties matches. You're not seeing the stupid matches that just dig. Let's be honest, degrade women. You're not seeing a ton of those. I mean, you see them every once in a while, like the mud pit match, like the match with Vicky Guerrero at the end of her little run. It was just kind of to pick on Stephanie a little bit too. So
Yeah,
that one makes sense, but you don't see it a ton as like you used to.
yeah, and they are. I feel like bringing up women who really can perform in the ring. I don't know that they're really giving them the platform to do so. They kind of put them in stupid gimmicks and stupid storylines, like Paige right now with AJ. They're in a stupid storyline.
Where's the anti diva? That's all I want to know.
Yeah,
That's like the one thing I remember from NXT. Like I watched that first pay per view they had. I think it was Takeover, and I saw her on there, and I was like, and then she came into the main roster. I was like, oh my god, and then I was like, wait, where's this anti diva that I wanted to see?
yeah. It was like, okay, we're gonna bring Paige up and we're gonna put her in a storyline with AJ. AJ's crazy in the storyline, so we're gonna make Paige crazy. And hey, Alicia Fox isn't doing anything, so let's make her crazy and just put them all together. It's bound to work. It doesn't work. And they have women like Charlotte gonna be coming up, which obviously daughter of Ric Flair. So you know, just by genetics, she's has talent. Now, whether they really show that talent is yet to be seen on the main roster, anyway. It's just kind of it's hit or miss when they bring any superstars up from the main roster. A lot of times they just dumb them down and give them basic story or basic gimmick and basic move set, and it's kind of like watching paint dry. um, but anyway, what division do we want to do next? Because we have either the Intercontinental or U.S. title, which are kind of, I feel like, same level. Uh,
Yeah. Um, I guess we could go. Which one do you think means the least? You cared about the least, I guess.
Historically, I think the United States title. I feel like the Intercontinental title always had a little bit more prestige to it. Um, so I guess the U.S. title we'll talk about.
All right.
And our U.S. champion is still Sheamus, correct? I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I can't even really keep track of who's the champions anymore in these divisions. They just kind of become mundane. But we have Sheamus as our United States champion. This isn't really a division. It's kind of just kind of more of a mid card division, I guess you would say. What do you think? Let's say about the title itself, not so much the mid card division.
I the text for both of them. They it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of meaning to it. It's not really promoted as like a big time type of deal. It kind of is. They try to, but it's just really not because basically there's no they don't try to build storylines around it. They just throw people into tournaments, throw people into battle royals. They just kind of have a number one contender come out of the air. Like just flip a coin, and if you win the coin toss, if you win rock paper scissors this time, you get a chance at the title. That's practically all it is. Um, you know, Honestly, what'll bring some prestige to it is if they give it to Bo Dallas. So no, but I mean, I would like to see Bo Dallas get the title, at least, kind of push him up a little bit instead of he's kind of just faltering around, kind of like everyone in the mid card type of division. I guess I'm getting onto the mid card division, but before I get onto that, this title just it doesn't seem like it means as much as it used to. It doesn't feel like the people who win it are a real threat to win the world title. Like Sheamus was, Sheamus right now is the current champion. Not that I couldn't see him win the title, but it's believable. But do I really want him to win the title? Not really. It doesn't.
Yeah. I feel like it's not doing anything for him. It's not, it's not helping him advance to the next level. It's not really doing anything. It's just uh, kind of just there. And I almost think, worst comes to worst, they could just retire the U.S. title. I don't think anyone really miss it that much. Um, uh, there's other belts that they've retired that we thought we would really miss, and a lot of people don't, like the cruiserweight title, the hardcore title. A lot of people do miss the hardcore championship, but I do, uh, unfortunately. We'll get to that a little bit later. Um, but I mean, and I've heard rumors that they're thinking about combining the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title, like doing a unification match. They could do that, but I think it's just as easy to just retire it. There's no real storyline around it, like you were saying. There's no, I don't know. It's just kind of there for me. Um,
I got a point about the U.S. title though. I felt like well, Sheamus is not doing anything because Sheamus has already reached his peak. You know what I mean? Sheamus has already had the world title, and it's not similar to like TNA where Samoa Joe's bringing back prestige to that division just because because of who he is or whatnot. Like it's a little bit different with the U.S. title. I felt like it doesn't mean anything to Sheamus because it's just kind of a weight there. With Bad News Barrett, though, I felt like it meant a little bit more because you've seen Bad News Barrett have to go through injury after injury after injury, and it feels like as soon as Bad News Barrett gets his push, injury again. As soon as he gets over, injury again. Like even with when he won the U.S. Championship, and I was actually really excited about it because Bad News Barrett, he was like or Wade, however you want to say it. He was one of my favorite guys just because that first episode, not episode, but the first like season of NXT when it was like kind of like a reality type show, not necessarily a brand. Like all those guys, I'm practically big time fans of. I know Daniel Bryan was in there, Titus O'Neil was in there. I'm thinking Heath
yeah,
Slater was in there definitely. Michael Tarver, who's not with the company anymore, he was in there. Um, it's a lot of people you can think. Ryback was in there as well. Um,
Dustin Deal, Heath Slater, you know.
Yeah, like, and with that, like, it's a little different for Bad News Bear, right? Because he's been hurt like a lot of the time, when he gets a push. So for him to have the title, it's a little bit more significant because he hasn't had that title run yet. He hasn't really had that real chance because he's been hurt. It's a little bit. It'd be a little bit different for Bo Dallas because he's coming from NXT and he's trying to move up the ranks. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. Now, if they, got rid of it, would I like miss it? Not really. Um, it's kind of like I think it's been like this for mainstream pro wrestling for a nice little bit. The main title, which is the world heavyweight title, that's the only title they truly care about. And it's changed a little bit in TNA, but I mean we're not talking about TNA, we're talking about WWE. And with WWE, it was kind of significant with B&B, but it's not as significant with Sheamus. He's already kind of reached his peak. If Del Rio would have won it while he was with the company, it was his destiny to win the world heavyweight title. So why would it be his destiny to win the U.S. title?
Yeah. I feel like anyone who's already won the world heavyweight title or the WWE championship back when they had both titles, them going back to the U.S. title, there's no point to it. Speaking of the guys in NXT, the original one who formed the Nexus, gotta rep the Nexus shirt, you know. But
That was like one of my favorite angles ever. Nexus was.
I loved it.
I used to walk around saying if you're, if what was it? You're either Nexus or against us. I used to freaking love that, and the theme song, everything about it was great. I thought it changed it, but everything, the original Nexus was great.
Yeah. And actually going back to the divas really quick. I feel like a lot, and it's again something kind of I guess trivial. But when they changed the title from the women's title to the divas title, I think that kind of hurt them too, because women's title, it's the women,
And it's more prestigious. It has more history behind it.
yeah. Now it's the divas. Ooh, who cares? It's a belt shaped like a butterfly. Even in interviews, AJ Lee has said she doesn't like the belt because it's pink and it's a butterfly. You know, it, it just doesn't appeal for everybody, equally.
Yeah, and the women can have a different belt. Don't get me wrong, but the butterfly doesn't really appeal to professional wrestling. Like once again, like it appeals to like entertainment. It doesn't appeal to it doesn't make any sense. It makes if you have a daughter, it makes a lot of sense for her to carry around a butterfly belt. But it doesn't make it doesn't make a lot of sense for grown women to be sitting there carrying around butterfly belts.
Yeah, I mean, and there's people that collect the championship belts that go online, yeah, either to WWE.com or there's other websites that sell them, and you know the other one, I could see myself buying the women's championship belt and hanging it on my wall. I can't see myself hanging a butterfly belt on my wall. Uh, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Other people might be cool with it. I'm not. Um, anyway, let's get back to what we're.
Yeah, even in my universe mode, and this is just a quick point. I even changed my Divas title to the women's title, but just another point about that. Like it's just more prestigious. When the title is more prestigious, it's a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and I did too. I changed mine too. I actually made a custom one with like a red strap because I thought it looked cool. But you know, it's simple things like that that can change so much in a division. Um, but we were talking about the U.S. title there for a little bit. Um, yeah, like we were saying, like we were both saying, if they got rid of it, it's not anything that we would cry over. Um, but uh, do you have anything else to say about the U.S. Championship or the picture? Or, I don't even know who the number one contender is, to be honest.
I, oh yeah, I thought it was I don't know. They switched the contenders on me, and now I'm confused. So I don't either.
Half the time, I don't even think they have one. They just kind of make it up as they go. But anyway, next.
And one more thing about that, like
Yeah,
even the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title, since we're getting into that, like if Cesaro won it, then maybe it would be a little bit more significant because Cesaro's been kind of on a downward spiral. You know, he's kind of been not as relevant as he is as he should be, and I freaking love Cesaro, just the way that, and I guess you kind of call it that strong style he uses in the ring, like. Like I love Cesaro. I love the way the way he works in the ring. So I think for him, with him, kind of going downward a little bit, maybe for Bray, even though I think Bray is even a little bit above that, that
Yeah.
Intercontinental title.
I mean, I think if they keep it, if they had Sheamus lose it to like a Cesaro and then had like Sami Zayn come up. Sami Zayn and Cesaro had great matches in NXT. They've had great matches in other promotions. A lot of WWE fans don't realize. You know, if they did an angle like that where they had a storyline for the belts, that would be cool. That would bring a little bit more. I don't know necessarily that it would bring more prestige to it, but it would bring more interest to it from the fans. Because those it would there would be good matches for the title, which a lot of the times that's the problem with WWE. They have title matches, but they're not always good matches. And it doesn't matter what title is being contended for. If the match is shit, that's really all that matters. But anyway, next is the Intercontinental Championship, Intercontinental title, whatever you want to call it. This one, has a lot of history to it. There was a time where um, you could say the Intercontinental title was bigger than the WWE Championship, depending on who had it at the time. There was a time when guys like Razor Ramon had it, Shawn Michaels, where you could have argued that at the time it was bigger than the WWE Championship. As of lately, not so much. Our current champion is Dolph Ziggler. I think he is bringing some prestige back to it. I like seeing him as the Intercontinental Champion. At least we know when he has a title defense, it's going to be a good match. Um, I don't know where they're going with it. Hopefully, they kind of keep it in a good situation and don't let it kind of fall to the wayside like it had been in the past couple of years. What's your thought on that?
Um, Excuse me. As far as the Intercontinental Championship, I'm a big time fan of Dolph Ziggler because I've been a big fan of his since like he was just introducing himself backstage. Um, Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler. What are you talking about, dope? And then they like, mispronounce his name or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been a big time fan of Dolph since, his beginnings practically in WWE. Um, and yeah, he does bring prestige to this title because of who he is. And like I said before, when it makes sense to have a title run, then it makes sense. Like Miz, Miz got the title when he first came back from his whole movie thing, and he started this moneymaker movie gimmick and everything. And that made sense that he got the title because he's coming back. He's not gonna come back from a movie and be like, well, I want to be world champion now. No, they're not. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes a little bit more sense for him to go for the quote mid card title. Maybe work his way back up because he hasn't really been in the major title picture for a while. So him to come back with a new gimmick and go after the title. I was actually happy that he won the title that first time. I actually kind of like Miz for some reason. I don't really know why, but I actually kind of like Miz. Maybe it's the moneymaker gimmick. I don't really. Maybe it's just Sandow. It's Mizdow. That's what it is. But I think Mizdow is kind of making Miz at this point. Um, I don't know. Mizdow may actually be getting Miz a little bit more heel heat than he even was getting before, just because people love Mizdow so much that they're putting all the negative energy on Miz. Like even in the tag team matches, they were like, "We want Mizdow," and Miz will be in the ring, and he can kind of pander to that. But as far as this goes, I just feel as if this title is similar to the U.S. title. It really is. It's practically in the same situation. I think it's a little bit more prestigious because, yeah, Sheamus has worked hard and all of that, but Dolph has too, and it's a little bit different with Dolph because, yeah, Dolph won the world title, the world heavyweight title when it was, the title over SmackDown, but his run really wasn't, a significant run. It really wasn't, something to remember him by. Like it was just kind of like they gave him the title, and then he was over in the company. They gave him the title, then he lost it. It wasn't really anything, significant about it. So I feel the same way with this title, but I do feel like Ziggler makes a lot more sense than Sheamus does for the other one.
Yeah. And I think a guy like Sheamus, or Ziggler, I should say, I almost feel like even back when he had the World Heavyweight title, or even to now, I almost feel like he doesn't necessarily need a championship, but I feel like him having the Intercontinental title is bringing more. He's doing more for the belt than the belt is doing for him, basically. Um, so it makes sense to have him as the champion. I don't know necessarily, even with Miz, I don't think Miz would necessarily have the same effect with it. Um, just because I'm liking the gimmick more and more that I see it. But still, in the ring, Ziggler is a lot better than Miz. Just uh,
That's true.
technically speaking, with his abilities. Um,
One thing Miz has over Ziggler and over everyone else, Cena put him over. Cena put him over, dude. I can't. Cena put him over, man.
I I don't know how that happened.
The
I
one
don't know.
person Cena put over.
and,
It's funny,
and it's
like he's
Miz.
like the most hated guy, like among WWE as far as people you think about. Like people don't like Miz, but the one guy Cena puts over, people hate, and I guess it makes sense because everybody hates Cena, so They're gonna hate the one person he put over ever in his life.
I don't know. Maybe he thought, if he puts him over, they'll hate him more, so it'll take heat off of Cena. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, uh, any other points on the Intercontinental Championship?
Um, no, I think I'm good with the Intercontinental Championship, but I'll
Uh,
be back in a second.
he left us. He left us all alone.
Coming back. Just continue. I'll be back in a second.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
You're the host. You should know everything.
I guess we have one-on-one time, just me and you. Let's talk. Let's talk about our feelings. No, but next we're gonna get into and I almost overlooked this. I don't know how. But the tag team titles. Right now we have our champions are Goldust and Stardust. Um, I don't really know how I feel about them. It's better than them or than the Usos having the titles because I felt like the Usos were kind of getting stale there for a while. I was really excited when they first won the titles. I wanted them to. It felt like for a while there they were kind of would get the number one contendership and then they would get forgotten about and then they'd have another number one contenders match and it just went on for a while. Finally they got the belts, but they had them for kind of seemed like a long time until um, Goldust and Stardust won it from them, and by that time they were kind of getting stale. Um, I don't know what they're kind of planning to do with the belts now. I've heard that the Ascension is coming up from NXT. Even with them, we've talked about this in our past videos. There's not really many tag teams in the WWE right now. They they kind of need to definitely build up their tag team division, because a lot of their fan base are tag team fans. Guys from both of our generations, love the TLC matches. Um, we loved all the ladder tag team ladder matches. Um, Tag team wrestling in general in the late '90s, early 2000s was awesome. Um, I think in all companies, whether it was WWE, WCW, TNA. Didn't really watch too much of the tag team in ECW, so I can't really say for them. But I just I kind of want them. It's never going to be like it was. There's never going to be Hardys again. There's never going to be another Christian. There's never going to be another Dudleys. But to build up the uh, division again, get more tag teams in there that stay. More solidified tag teams, not just guys that they kind. Yes, yes, we know. Not just guys that they try to stick together and see if it works. What's your thoughts on the tag team division?
Um, my first thought is they need to give the titles to Slater Gator. But yeah, I love Slater Gator though, and the unfortunate part about Slater Gator right now is they were kind of promoting him a little bit recently on Raw, and all that time they have, they might as well, right? And then they just kind of pushed him under the rug a little bit recently. I've kind of seen that a little bit over the last week or so. At least I've kind of seen them just kind of. I think they were on NXT or something. At least Titus O'Neil was.
Yeah,
So
Titus O'Neil was on NXT.
like, just give them the titles, darn it. No, maybe later. They probably won't do that. Slater Gator is just a jobber team that everyone's going to get behind and hope they win the titles. I think they'll be that team that will never win the titles, but there'll be a lot of people wanting them to win the titles.
Yeah,
But as far as the Stardust Goldust thing, I don't hate it at all. I kind of wish though, like there was this whole thing about the Cosmic Key, and I think we figured out that was the titles. But this is the thing about Goldust and Stardust, and it's similar to Bray Wyatt, and I'll talk about Bray Wyatt when we get to the heavyweight picture. Um, the Goldust and Stardust thing, they talked about the Cosmic Key, and it still seems like there's kind of holes in the character. Like, why did they turn heel? Why did Cody Rhodes decide to even go to Stardust? Like, why did he think that was a good idea? Like there's like holes in there that maybe I feel like with titles should be filled in. Like okay, you found the Cosmic Key now. What's the main reasoning for you wanting to do this whole Stardust Goldust thing? There's a lot of there's a lot of holes in their whole gimmick that kind of could be filled in by just so okay, they won the title, so now we get a little bit more insight. Like you can just build on the title on them winning the titles. As far as the Usos go, I think what really happened with the Usos, the reason they got stale is because the Wyatts were so over. People were really loving the Wyatts. Not just Bray, but the whole Wyatt family, Luke Harper especially. And there was a time when we thought the Wyatts were going to win the titles. And I think, and I'm saying we as in the majority of the wrestling community. we thought, Wyatt's are going to win these titles. I mean, it's going to happen. Like, come on now. Like, it's obvious. Then they don't, and we're kind of like, oh, man. They fight again? Oh, they're going to win the titles this time. Then they don't. We're kind of let down again. And I think, after being let down, you're kind of upset a little bit. You kind of just you take it out on the team that's already they just kind of became like the lame duck at that point. You knew they were going to lose it, but it was kind of like, well, we're tired of these guys because the guys we wanted to win didn't win. So I mean, as far as the tag team division goes, there's not a ton of diversity with the tag team division. I'm hoping maybe with now that they're re-promoting the Wyatts, maybe they'll get their title run that they not only deserve, but they should have got before anyway. Um, as far as the Ascension coming up, I don't know. I don't know if I haven't heard a ton about the Ascension, but I don't keep up with NXT news a lot anyway. So I'm not really sure what the Ascension is gonna do, but they could enhance the tag team division because that's one more tag team that you have on the main roster that you didn't have before. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see like what they're gonna do because the tag team division is kind of weak. It's kind of there's not a ton going on. There's not really a lot to really hold your hat on. You know what I mean? There's not really anything for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this tag team match. And I've said it in videos past. The tag team matches just I'm just not excited for tag team matches anymore unless there's like some type of stipulation. Like I can't just be excited for just a general 2-on-2 one man. Two people on the corner, two people in the ring. I just can't. I can't get excited for that anymore. I just can't.
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying about Goldust and Stardust, there are a lot of holes. Even as as simple as okay, they got the cosmic keys, but what are the cosmic keys open? What are they giving you insight to? A key opens something. What is this cosmic key opening? It just doesn't make sense. And then
Yeah, because they were doing the little thing with the like. Didn't they do this like long equation on the board or something? And they're
yeah,
like, oh, it's the cosmic key. Like,
yeah, yeah. And then also a big thing is they need some more face tag teams. They have a bunch of heels, but the only face they have are the Usos. Uh, you know, the Stardust and Goldust are heels. The Wyatts are technically heels, even though they're so over, or were so over. Um, who else is there?
Slater Gator is, booked as a heel.
Yeah, and all these teams, even the Ascension, are heels. Uh, it doesn't make sense. Are all these teams just gonna go against the Usos?
It's
Uh,
gonna be interesting to see, like, so when they bring the Wyatts back, because the Wyatts have that, that following of fans like that, maybe they make them into faces. But I don't think they can do that right now because of the whole Bray Wyatt situation, too. I just
yeah,
thought about that as I was, saying that. So
I mean, and they could even do heel versus heel tag team matches if they do it right. You know, they they've done heel versus heels before, and if you do it right, it works. Same with face versus face. It just there's that kind of respect factor there when you do a face versus a face, but you have to do it right, or it just ends up being a dumb, useless match. There's just a lot they need to work on in the tag team division, and I hope they do. I really hope they do. Um, I guess next is the big guy, not Ryback.
oh
The
God.
we have the world heavyweight champion, Brock Lesnar,
Wait,
who is
before we get into this, though, wait a minute.
what
Like,
what?
it's the same thing. It's the same thing you were talking about before, though. You remember you were saying, people got repackaged and they just got repackaged as the same thing with Bray Wyatt. It's the
Yeah,
same thing that happened at Ryback.
yeah, yeah.
Like he got repackaged into the big guy, like the Feed Me More Ryback that was over like freaking a year ago. Why change it in the first place if you're just gonna have to go back to it?
I don't know.
I
I
mean, I didn't
mean,
want to interrupt. I'm just saying, like we were just talking about it, and then you said
yeah.
the big guy, and then it maybe
Maybe they're just gonna do this with everybody. Take them away and then repackage them as the same damn thing. I don't know. But we have the World Heavyweight title, which is held by Brock Lesnar, who is never there. Which I don't know. It still bothers me that they have a champion that's never there. I mean, I I was more of a Brock Lesnar fan back his original run, uh, back like mid 2000s. I liked him more back then. I don't really like him now as much, but uh, it could be just because he's not really there, and I feel like being world heavyweight champion, you should be there every week, if not every other week, and he's just not there. Um, as far as the title picture, we have John Cena, um, John Cena, John Cena, and John Cena.
you forgot about option E, John Cena.
Oh yeah. So if we could clone John Cena, we could have a huge like 6-man match for the title. No, but I mean, there's people they could put in world title picture, but they just don't.
I, and I think they're trying to, right now with a lot of their big name guys hurt though. I think they're really trying to not expose everyone. Like they don't want to expose Ambrose too early. They don't. They're definitely being patient with Rollins. Um, Bray should be the next number one contender. Like especially if Cena wins. Like it seems like they're kind of pushing it for Cena to win, but I don't know. Do I? I mean, and once again, I hate to interrupt, but do I really want? I mean, if Cena wins and he couldn't put the man over at WrestleMania, is he gonna put him over to win the title? Or are we just gonna get the same thing?
I I still think that that Randy Orton should have won the number one contendership. I think for one, he would have such a better match with Lesnar. He's better in the ring. Lesnar Lesnar's to me he's okay in the ring. I don't think he's really the best. So I just think it would have the dynamic would have been better. Randy would have been able to carry the match a little bit better. And then having him win the title from Lesnar, I think he would put over a Rollins or an Ambrose or a Wyatt um, more than we know John Cena won't. Um, so I guess my next question is: do you think that either any of those three, Wyatt, Rollins, or Ambrose, will win the title at any point?
My hope is, and I really believe Rollins is gonna win it sooner than any of the other two. Just because he's the Money in the Bank winner, and I don't expect him to go with he wins the Money in the Bank. They're pushing him like they're pushing him. They're being patient with him like they're being patient with him, and then he just loses it. Like I think that's a burial right there. Um, you know, so I'm thinking Rollins is gonna win it faster than any of the other guys because Bray just did. I mean, Bray, yeah, he did just come back, and it's kind of gonna set up something. I think it's gonna set up something with him and Rollins, maybe, just because why you're interfering in my match or something like that, maybe. But once again, like I said with Stardust and Goldust, if Bray was to win the title, there's so much more. It's kind of it's an open bag, but it's kind of hidden too. We don't have a clue who Sister Abigail is. We don't know what. I mean, we know what she's been telling him, but that's a missing piece of the puzzle right there, Sister Abigail. Like, is the title our key to know who this Sister Abigail is? Like, this is where she always wanted him to be. What's gonna be weird though is to see Bray carry out a title though, and I don't know if maybe he gets Rowan or Harper to carry it out for him. Especially with the whole lamp thing, or if he wears it around his waist, which I think would be weird. I think he should, I think honestly, we saw people carry the title a little bit differently, like with Eminem. I don't know if you remember Eminem with the Nitro and Mercury. We
Yeah.
saw them carry it, which I actually kind of like. I didn't think it was disrespectful at all. I thought it was kind of cool, just something different. Obviously we saw Cena with the double belts and whatnot. We're not going to see that, obviously. But with Bray, it's going to be interesting to see if he does win the title with the whole lamp gimmick and all of that. How's he going to carry the title? I don't, I think it would be weird to see it around his waist, especially with him being a bigger guy. Plus, I think, I don't know if the prototypical over the shoulder is going to work for him. I think it's got to be something different because Bray is such a different dynamic,
Yeah.
character wise.
I feel like he could even do like I remember when the Dudleys had the title and Bubba would kind of put it around his neck and it kind of fit that not mentally stable kind of gimmick that at the time the Dudleys had. Um, you kind of weren't sure if Bubba was all there, um, and I don't think it's necessarily the same with Bray Wyatt. I feel like his character is a lot more is a very intelligent character. It's just he's that Louisiana kind of swamp backwoods type guy. So uh, you know they could do a bunch of different things with him. Um,
Don't you think it would be interesting for him to maybe put it on the lamp because he holds the lamp up? He's constantly holding the lamp up. I think that would be cool. It would be cooler if obviously the title would glow with the lamp and they did
yeah,
something with that. That would be cool, but I don't know how they would do that.
yeah, and I mean, I I don't think WWE would put money into it, but I could see him, coming out with an alternate belt, like Austin had the
Yeah.
smoking skull belt. Um, because I could see him winning the title, but I don't see him carrying that specific title. I see him carrying more of a kind of something more to his kind of character.
Do you see him like? This is my question. So, do you see him maybe winning the title in kind of an iffy fashion, and then they going with the similar to the ROH thing that they just recently did with Briscoe and Adam Cole. Who's the real world champion type of storyline, especially with him. You saying he gets his own belt. That's where I was thinking maybe they would go with that, like where I don't know who it would feud with. The first person that comes to mind is obviously Cena, just because Cena has his belt, the original belt, not the spinner belt, but the actual the newer
Yeah,
belt he has now, and then Bray has his own customized belt.
yeah. I mean, I could actually, now that you mention that, I could actually kind of see that working out kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Because it would be like playing mind games with Cena and just driving him crazy if he would go with it. If he would go with that storyline.
If Bray won the title, though, dude, and he had his own belt, like, you know how over he would be? Like, he's already over now, but, like, if he had his own freaking belt, dude would be,
Yeah,
like, just too over.
yeah, yeah.
And feuding with Cena on top of that, like,
Yeah,
maybe.
but I also don't want to see like Rollins and Ambrose disappear.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
And that's kind of the bad thing about having one belt, too, because, you can only propel like one person at one time. I mean, maybe you could do Rollins and Ambrose at the same time going after Cena because they have that, vested, feud with him. But I don't know, because I don't know. It just, I can't see Lesnar make any sense after you defeat the streak. It's just hard to comprehend you defeating the greatest streak in, professional wrestling history and you losing the title to Cena just because he's Cena.
yeah, and I I feel like if they did kind of some more back and forth, maybe Rollins wins the title and then Ambrose wins it from Rollins and then Rollins wins it back and then you know uh, Wyatt wins it or something. If they did something like that, but spaced it out enough so it's not like every week the title is changing, but they're not holding the title for too long. Because I feel like sometimes certain superstars hold the title for too long and it gets stale. So if they kind of mix it up,
I,
no, that was what were you gonna say?
okay, I was just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I think Bray could have a nice title run and it still be over. Like, especially if they did this fake belt thing or personalized belt. Like, I think, and this is just going into fantasy booking, which I don't even do a lot, but with Bray, I think it would be fun to see Bray, and I'm thinking next year around WrestleMania times, if Bray doesn't debut, like, okay, let's say he wins the title at, I'm thinking night of, what's the pay per view before that? Not Night of Champions. Is it Night of Champions? No, it's Elimination Chamber or whatever it'll be at that time. He wins the
Yeah,
belt there. We don't see him. Like, we just get like vignettes, and then this is how they push the WrestleMania feud. We just get vignettes. We get stuff like that with promoting Bray Wyatt, promoting him as the champion, promoting something like a new era has begun, or something similar to that. Like something there's something just something different about this run. And then at WrestleMania, he debuts this brand new title that's completely different from anything else we've seen.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be incredible, dude. Oh, I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
I, yeah. I mean that could work. I mean,
And then it would be such a big moment too, because he's debuting at WrestleMania at that. Like that. That's why I was kind of keep trying to do the vignettes. You don't really see him. Maybe he gets Harper and Rowan to jump on you or something like that. Like,
yeah, yeah. When is Money in the Bank? That's
uh,
trying to see when that's at. I can't even think off the top of my head when it is. 2015. Oh, June.
yeah.
So I mean, they could do that at WrestleMania, and then that would still give time to, Rollins would still have the Money in the Bank uh, briefcase with the contract. They could even do something where, uh, after that, Ambrose wins the title from Wyatt, and you know, Rollins freaks out. It's supposed to be mine. It's supposed to be mine. Because that would work. That would he has the contract, so he thinks he's entitled to get the title. They could do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I hope they.
I just don't think they would though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the only bad part. Like I don't think they even have a create a title thing in WWE 2K15, but I might before I get 2K15 do something like that just to mess around with it and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
For,
Um, Also, I wanted to get into in this video, what if they were to bring back one of the retired belts? Is there any belt that you would like to see come back, whether it be the cruiserweight title, whether it be the hardcore title? Trying to think if there's any other ones.
you got the light heavyweight title.
Yeah, that one too. Any of those that you would like to see back, or
I mean the one I think of, and I actually was gonna let you go first because I didn't think I would. I thought I'd have to think about this a little bit more, but I really don't. Would probably be the hardcore title because the hardcore title was so unpredictable. Like you just never knew when it was gonna be defended, and I love the way where they had it like anytime, anywhere type of thing. Like with WWE, especially during the Attitude Era, they had that whole you know you would see you would see so many backstage segments that weren't actually backstage. Like it was cool to see somebody in a bar. You see I don't know, Stone Cold in a bar. He's got the hardcore title, and
yeah,
somebody smashes him over the head with a beer can and pins him and wins the hardcore title just in a bar. Like that I mean just the unpredictability of it was just great. And
yeah,
I don't know how they would change that today though, because we don't really see hardcore matches in the fashion that we used to see them, and plus we don't really see them as much in WWE. A lot of times you just see a ton of chairs, just a ton of chairs.
yeah,
Um, so I really don't know as far as the hardcore title. If they brought it back, they would probably have to change it. They would have to change it in some way to fit. I think the stylistic contrast that it has today. That the hardcore aspect of wrestling has today.
yeah. I mean, I think they could bring it back. And you can have hardcore matches that aren't like bloodbaths. They've had plenty of matches where there was a little bit of blood, but not anything that is going to traumatize kids or anything like that. Um, so I think they could definitely do it, and uh, I would like to see that come back. I would also like to see if they got rid of the U.S. title. I would like to see them bring back like the cruiserweight title um, for the smaller guys, or even like the guys who don't really get pushes. They could, that would be something, or even bring a new title, new mid card title in. Just
Yeah, and the one thing about the cruiserweight title, the one thing about bringing it back today, because you have so many smaller guys that wrestle today. If you think about it, when the cruiserweight title was practically in its prime, when it was the one of the main additions, with the cruiserweight title, you kind of it put a limit on smaller guys winning the main title. And I think if they, I don't know if if it would be the cruiserweight title, another title they could bring back. I don't know. I think that new title thing is a good idea. If they were going to bring back a title or create a new title, replace the Intercontinental and just have a different mid card title, because I don't think it should have a limit on it either. Because like that's kind of the thing about the X division I like. Like it doesn't have a limit, and excuse me, it makes it where Austin Aries can win the world title, and Austin Aries can win the world title. On the extreme opposite, Samoa Joe can win the world title. EC3 can win the world title. It kind of puts it in that aspect. And when you bring back the cruiserweight title, it's kind of like you have to keep the smaller guys into that mold. And I think, obviously, stereotypically, some of the older wrestling fans might say you need to keep them in that mold.
Yeah. Another title that I forgot that they retired was the European Championship. Remember that?
Yeah,
Um,
I actually like the European Championship.
yeah, I think they did. Didn't they do like a unification match to unify the European and Intercontinental title or something like that?
I think they did. I think actually it may have been Benoit in it actually. And God forbid I just said his name, but it may have been Benoit.
I think it was actually. Yeah, because I think Benoit was the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, because I was actually reading his book. Not his book, but obviously many people that came together and wrote different sections of it. It's called Benoit. So, I was reading this book. I never did get to finish it. It's probably freaking due now, but I never did get to finish it. And I really do want to finish it because it is a good book. Um, you know, I'm not gonna say anything about Benoit right now, but just in ring wise, like his I don't even know like that subject's touchy. Like I don't even want to even go into it.
Well, going off topic, more to the network. Um, I know one of the big issues when the network first came out, and I don't think they've changed it at all, is they didn't have Benoit matches, and I almost I think they should because I mean, yeah, we know what happened.
Yeah,
We know,
and plus, like, and I understand what you're saying, and I feel like it's completely different too. Like, this is a guy who's gonna be completely forgotten in the history of WWE, and I don't think he really should be. Like, you don't have to bring that up. Like, I know when people look it up, when they look up Chris Benoit, that's the first thing that's gonna pop up. But as a company, WWE, I don't think they really have to bring that up. And it's kind of, it's his fault, but it's kind of unfortunate too. And where a little bit of WWE, they kind of get the blame here too, is they he can't get into the Hall of Fame because they're not gonna let their reputation be upheld by that situation.
yeah, and you have to think he did so much for WWE. Um, him, Eddie Guerrero, I'm trying to think, Perry Saturn at the time too. Just those those initial WCW guys who came over um, before WCW went out of business, and even his career in WCW. Um, you can't. Unfortunately, the tragedy did happen. We can't take that away, but we shouldn't, completely erase him from.
And I agree, and I don't mean to interrupt again, but like it's two totally different things. That's what I was trying to get to. I just finally found my point. Like what he did outside the ring that night was it seemed like it was just from what I've heard from the people close to him. Not literally heard, but what I read about from people close to him, what I kind of discovered. But as far as I feel like it's two different things. Like what he did that night, yeah, completely wrong. Like no one should ever do that. I'm not condoning what he did, but his in ring product is a little bit different. Like it's you know
I to me like what he did that night and his in-ring product are two should be two completely different things. I
yeah.
mean, from what I heard, it was kind of a roid rage thing, which you know it's basically like an overdose. You know, you can't when you overdose, you can't really control what you do. Um, and unfortunately, it it caused a tragedy that happened. But
And,
you know,
and he, oh, I was gonna let you keep going if you wanted to. It's up to you.
no, no, go.
I mean, like, and that's why I was saying that WWE takes a little bit of the blame for it because, you know, it's kind, WWE's been promoted as like the big guy is the guy who gets the title. So Chris Benoit, being a smaller guy, thought he would never get the title, and that's how it was in every other company he was in before that. It was kind of like the big guy is going to get the main title. You'll never get the main title. So he felt like, he felt condemned to kind of take steroids and kind of get himself beefed up. And obviously those have other, that drug has other effects on your body besides, just getting big.
Yeah, and I mean, it's it's also not completely WWE's fault. It's kind of the nature of the beast. Um, a lot of guys take steroids just and different pain medications just day in and day out. The toll that it takes on their body. Um, it's just some guys, take it too far. Unfortunately, he did, and it just sucks because he was a great performer, and you can tell it was the steroids that were kind of and I don't want to get too much into this because it's something we all don't want to talk about, but it was the steroids that were kind of controlling him when it happened. You even saw when he finally did win the title, um, and his son came in the ring. I mean, the way he embraced his son, you can tell he really did love his family. It wasn't some guy who hated his family and just did what he did. Unfortunately, it happened. But I feel like back to my original point, if they would put more stuff like that, like his matches, on the network, um, you'd get more subscriptions. Um, because that's what people want to see. People want to see good matches with good performers. Um, but that's really what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't even mean to go on a tangent about it. I just know, he was a big time thing to, not only the cruiserweight division, but, to the heavyweight division. And I know it's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of people who don't have any clue who he is because it's gonna be under wraps like that. And I don't know if it should really be that way. Maybe outside of the ring, yeah, keep it away. But inside of the ring, it's a little bit. It's very different.
Yeah, I mean his in-ring performance and his in-ring work should be shared with generations. Same as Eddie Guerrero. Um, I don't want to go through a whole list of um, superstars who have unfortunately passed away. We have Owen Hart, but all those guys should be, their matches should be saved somewhere, whether it's the network, whether it's YouTube. The the following generations after us should always be able to see these matches and these guys, because they kind of built my life in wrestling, kind of carved my path in wrestling as a fan, and I want when I have kids I want them to be able to see the guys that I grew up with, but uh, pretty much I think that's all we have for this video, unless you have anything else to share with our loving fans.
I'm actually done. Actually, yeah, it is one thing. I may actually have just found a female perspective, not on this topic, but maybe on a future topic. And I'm talking about the state of WWE topic, not anything else. Maybe some kind of future topic. I'm gonna try to keep talking to her, and maybe we'll get a. And it's a fan perspective. It's not necessarily a superstar perspective, which any perspective is good. Obviously. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I really do. I really appreciate you guys. If you stayed through the video this long, even through the last little tangent, I really appreciate it. You know, it does. It makes me upset. I get sad just thinking about it. So I don't like to touch on it a ton. But guys, if you want to hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll be a happy man. You know what I mean? You smile right now, you see? I'll be straight up happy though. Share the video however you share it. You know what I mean? If you don't like rhinos, that's all right. You ain't gotta use a rhino. Just put the, you know what I mean? You just take it. You write the URL down. You put it on the bottom of your shoe. You take your shoe and you throw it as far as you can. Somebody gonna pick up that shoe. They're gonna be like, I need this shoe. Oh, it's a URL on it. Let me go ahead and type it in. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Sharing videos can be done in many ways. No, go ahead and use this modern day technology we got, like the tweeter. Bam, you see it. You see it down there, down there somewhere. It's down there. You see it. Anyway, I ain't gotta even point it out to you. Use the Facebook thing. If you own that new MySpace thing, go ahead and use that. If you own Vine, go ahead and be like, this DJ Bill fella, yeah, he the man. This Casey fella, yeah, he the man. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and just shout us out. You know what I mean? I'll be happy. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I really do appreciate you guys. I can't even explain, my true appreciation. If you got a problem with what's going down on the videos, why don't you write it down so we know? Because we make the videos. You know, it make a lot of sense. But Casey, you can go ahead and say what you need to say.
Yeah, so share our video. Like he said, write down the URL. The way I would do it personally, you go into that Word document or whatever writing thingamabob you got on your computer. Some people don't have Word. Some people only got that little notepad thing. Whatever. Take that, you write down the URL, you print that out, couple copies, couple thousand copies, you print those out. You put them in random mailboxes, people open it. Oh, it's a URL. What's this? Or yeah, you could do that too. People are gonna see us. Also, if you happen to be a wrestling fan, a wrestler, a promoter, anything, and you have a Google Plus account, hit us up if you want to be in one of our videos, have your uh, points be taken into consideration. If you have any thoughts, let us know. My Twitter, my Twitter, it's right there. Just follow me, send me random things. I reply, I follow back. I do a lot of stuff. But yeah, keep watching, and we will promise to bring you interesting content and random, just tangents about things, anything really. All right, I guess we're done here. But
And
yeah,
by the way, first off, or I guess last off. Anyway, we just got a new subscriber. I just want to shout her out real quick because just because I know she's a new subscriber. Shout out to Haley Armstrong. She might be on this show sometime soon. So be a good thing if we can, maybe get her on, talk to her throughout a little bit and see if maybe it'll happen. If it don't happen, then Casey's waving at you guys. So
hi Haley Armstrong. You're my new best friend if you come on.
so you just got a new best friend, Haley. So I don't know. You may watch this. I hope you do. But guys, I really appreciate you guys. I really do. Can't even say it enough. See you guys. Peace. Yeah, just do the duck face just now. Peace, peace, guys. Just get out. Just